The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are LA.
Throughout the course of an NHL season, there are certain dates and certain games that stand out on the schedule. Tonight is one of those games. The top two teams in the NHL, Nashville and Anaheim, meet in Music City with bragging rights on the line. In a game loaded with NHL superstars, one team will emerge with the coveted 2 points and perhaps send a message for the 2015 playoffs. First place Ducks and first place Predators. Next on Prime Ticket. It's Anaheim's only trip of the season to Tennessee's capital city. They're at Bridgestone Arena tonight, the first of a 5-game road trip as they get set to take on the Nashville Predators. Or is it their only trip to Nashville? These two teams perhaps on a playoff collision course in a virtual dead heat, not only atop the Western Conference, but the entire National Hockey League. And what a tough place to play this building has been this season. 9 straight wins for the Nashville Predators coming into tonight's game. And a very good evening, everyone. Alongside Brian Hayward, I'm John Allers. Glad to have you along. I should qualify that 9 straight wins in this building. For a Nashville team that's getting healthy, they get a potential Hart Trophy candidate back in their lineup tonight.
There are 2 Hart Trophy candidates playing in this game. Ryan Getzlaf is one of them. The other one is the goaltender, Pekka Rinne of the Nashville Predators. And it's time now for Guts and Glory, brought to you by Ram Trucks. And, of course, we're going to talk about the netminder. It was a slight knee strain that took Rinne out of the lineup for the last 8 games. And despite the fact he missed the last 8, he still has more wins than any other netminder in the NHL. He's a very athletic netminder, big guy, over 6'5" tall, uses his hands to smother rebounds more effectively, I think, than any other netminder in the game today. This one's about traffic for me. Lots of traffic in front of Rinne if the Ducks are going to score enough to win this one.
And it's about star power as well as we get to tonight's Mercedes-Benz Star Watch. A couple of Canadian Olympians who always make their presence felt.
And they're going to be seeing an awful lot of one another in this game because Shea Weber always plays against the opponent's best players. So it's going to be interesting to see how Corey Perry goes in tonight's game, because when he is hot, he usually goes on a little bit of a run, and he was hot last game against the Carolina Hurricanes. Follows his shot to the net. He has those magical hands. He's able to score goals in tight spaces around the front of the net. And he also actually set up the game-winning goal in overtime with Ryan Getzlaf. And when you think about the Predators' defense, you think about Shea Weber, but it's more than Weber. A lot of offense generated from the blue line this season. Look at the bomb that Weber has from the point. That is a huge weapon on the Nashville power play. But overall, this team will activate their defense, involve them in the rush. They're very difficult to defend. They're going to try and spread the ice much in the same way that the Chicago Blackhawks do. And so the Ducks have to force them to play their game. Play it along the boards, play it in behind Pekka Rinne tonight. And that's the way that Anaheim will have success.
Well, a man who's going to have to be aware of where Shea Weber is all night, Frederik Andersen. Only Pekka Rinne in the National Hockey League has more wins to his credit thus far this season. Saved by Andersen. Andersen to the rescue. 2-on-1 with Steen. Steen, great save by Andersen.
What a save.
Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Hyundai. If you want a car that gives you more, Hyundai does like no other. The NHL spotlight is on Music City. And first place overall is on the line. The Ducks captain gains the line. Lindholm drives the net back to Perry. Finds an opening. Back for Getzlaf. He scores! What a pass! Tonight, Perry, Getzlaf, and the most exciting team in hockey hit the road to face Pekka Rinne and the red-hot Predators. Ducks hockey is next. It's a battle for the top spot in the National Hockey League tonight from Bridgestone Arena, a packed Bridgestone Arena, as the Nashville Predators play host to the Anaheim Ducks. And as we get set to go here, a late lineup change for Anaheim that could very well affect this hockey game.
Captain Ryan Getzlaf not on the bench. It's time for tonight's Honda Keys to the Game, and we are joined on the Anaheim bench by assistant coach Trent Yawney. And obviously, Trent, it changes things a little bit without Ryan Getzlaf in the lineup tonight, but does it change the game plan in any way?
Not at all, Hazy. I think that this team has been really resilient the whole year with guys been in and out of the lineup, and tonight's going to be no different.
Appreciate it, Trent, and good luck.
Thanks.
It is the second game this season that the Ducks have gone without their captain, and we already knew there were going to be line combinations that we haven't seen new for tonight's game, so that really will affect the line combinations as we're underway. The Predators in their home yellow, the Ducks in their road whites. The referees for tonight's game are Mark Lemelin and Mark Jeanette. Greg Dvorsky working the lines along with Scott Cherney. And a rolling puck back into the Nashville zone. Out to play it as Pekka Rinne has not played since January the 13th. He has missed 8 games with a knee injury. Still with the goals against him under 2. Top 10 in the league in every significant goaltending category. And the Predators have really ridden a great season from Rinne, who missed a good portion of last season because of a hip injury.
Well, that was the shot heard around the world, John, when Pekka Rinne went down with an injury. Everyone's instant reaction was it the hip that sidelined him for most of last season? He was talking about it this morning, and he said, it's a knee injury. It was just a little bit of a tweak. We wanted to be really, really certain about it. And the Predators were able to go 4-2-2 during his absence. But you talk about, do anyone around the NHL this year and talk to them about the MVP, who's the best player this season, and he's at the top of virtually everyone's list. So this is a big challenge for the Ducks tonight. They hope that there's a little bit of rust after the layoff with Pekka Rinne, and they hope to generate enough offense to find out soon.
Rinne's been tough on the Ducks in his career. This is his 18th game against Anaheim. He's 10-3-4 in his career and has lost only once in his last 10 outings against Anaheim. Hampus Lindholm to center for the Ducks, and he'll rim it around off the stick of Rinne to the near side. Balchenkov reverses it right back, and here comes Colin Wilson for the Preds. His pass ricochets back into the zone, and as it's touched by Bolesky, they rule he had not vacated the zone, so offside is the call.
So no Ryan Getzlaf in the lineup. When you think about it, stylistically, these two teams are very different anyway. The Predators want to open it up, stretch the ice, activate their defense, create rush opportunities, as many shifts as they can possibly do that. The Ducks want to grind you down. You want to play deeper, and without a talent like Getzlaf in the lineup, I think it puts even more of an emphasis on that. Pucks in deep, cycle down low, wear down this defense down below their goal line.
Fowler chased behind the goal, reverses it. A new defense partner for him tonight as he is alongside Eric Brewer, whose outlet pass will go the length of the ice. And icing will be the call. Ben Lovejoy, a healthy scratch on the Anaheim blue line tonight.
Eric Brewer played his first game in 8 weeks, last game against the Carolina Hurricane. There was a little bit of rust, I thought, times. On one goal he got overpowered by Stahl, where he was not inside of his check. And I thought he said it best. You can practice and you can skate all you want, but nothing gets you back up to playing in a game like playing in a game does. And the Ducks need to find out what they got in Eric Brewer. They need to see what kind of a contribution he can make. And this is an interesting combination for me with him and Cam Fowler. You get a little bit more size playing with Fowler here.
Clayton Stoner back in the Anaheim lineup tonight. He was the scratch on Tuesday, and we're going to get the game's first penalty as Matt Cullen is hooked down in the corner. And it is going to be Eric Brewer who gets the gate.
And this is what the Predators do. They're all about pressure. Little touch on the puck. Cullen gets inside of Eric Brewer. He hooks him into the midsection. Cullen goes down a little bit easy, but the Nashville Predators will get the first power play of the game. This is an important kill. It sounds funny to say that, but the Ducks need to get off to a good start in this drilling. I think especially after dealing with the news that they will be without the services of Getzlaf in tonight's game.
Nate Thompson wins the faceoff, and Stoner collects it and puts it on the glass around and out. Thompson has just been fantastic in the faceoff circle. In the last 19 games, he's just a shade under 60%. And with no Getzlaf tonight, you can bet that Bruce Boudreau will lean on Thompson's face-off acumen more so than on a normal game.
And we just got word from the Anaheim locker room, John. It is a lower body injury that Ryan Getzlaf aggravated during the pregame warm-up here tonight. And the reason why he's not playing right now.
Weber fell down at his own blue line, nearly coughed up the puck for a shorthanded opportunity, but instead it's Forsberg into the Anaheim zone. Stood up as he got to the line by Hampus Lindholm, and Weber follows up. He'll swing it around to the corner. Mike Fisher, who leads this team with 6 power play goals, serves it to the line. Left point, this is Roman Josi. He'll drive up the boards, thinks better of laying it off, and instead rims it around for Weber. 108 miles an hour plus in the All-Star skills competition for Shea Weber in that slap shot. So you know Anaheim's aware of where he is. Cogliano able to ice it. Silverberg gets to it from a bad angle. Rinne way out. Knocked away by Silverberg. He scores! What an individual effort by Jakob Silverberg.
We wondered if there would be rust on Pekka Rinne, and this is rust. He makes a bad decision with the puck. You want to keep pucks alive when your team is on the power play as a goaltender. Cogliano with the cross ice dump in, and here's the rebound, and he wants to give it to Shea Weber, but the communication was not there between the goaltender Rinne and Weber right here. Weber didn't want the puck. He wanted Rinne to eat it. He didn't eat it, and Jakob Silverberg just sneaks in there, and a shorthanded goal for the Ducks is huge.
Brewers penalty still has 35 seconds remaining as Rinne behind the goal to stop it. 1-0 Anaheim, a shorthanded goal for Jakob Silverberg. Back come the Predators. Smith goes to the slot. The pass comes across, and it's rocketed right on. Good save by Anderson as he got the blocker on that bid off the stick of Matthias Ekholm.
Yeah, Ekholm, another good-looking young defender coming up through the Predators system. And he's growing by leaps and bounds when you talk to the folks here in Nashville. Both him and Seth Jones have really elevated their game in the last month or so.
Ekholm out there with Jones. Ribeiro puts it below the goal line. Penalty is over to Brewer. He's out of the box. The Ducks full strength. Centering pass taken away in the slot by Brewer, and he sweeps it ahead for Bolesky. Cross ice pass for Lindholm, who joins the rush into the Nashville zone. Off his stick, he chases to the corner. Leaning on him there is Seth Jones. Plays it back to the line. Bolesky got a lot on that. A blocker save by Rinne. Ekholm trying to kick it loose in the corner. Now plays it along. It goes right through Jones. Bolesky gets pressure on Wilson. Matt Bolesky chases behind the net. It's shoveled along. Ekholm finds Ribeiro on the near side, and he shovels it to center ice. Taylor Beck into the Anaheim zone. Cannot get around Francois Beauchemin. Moved along by Bolesky, but kept alive by Paul Gaustin. He rims it around to the near side, and Volchenkov with a rather violent collision as he and Bolesky don't get out of one another's way.
He is a big man. Anton Volchenkov he's really just thick. I mean, that's the only way to describe the physique of Volchenkov. And when he hits you, boy, you know you've been hit. Not the fastest defenseman that we have seen, certainly wearing a Predators uniform.
Tim Jackman, who comes into the lineup with the late scratch of Getzlaf, has his pass broken up at the line, and then it's played into the Nashville bench, bringing a whistle. Stay with us as you enjoy the game tonight. You can enjoy a cold one at any time. We'll enjoy and share a cold one with you. It's Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite, coming up later on in the broadcast as we'll look back on one of the key moments in tonight's contest.
Early in the season, of course, one of the grand experiments was that Devante Smith-Pelly was being tried out in the center ice position. With the Getzlaf injury, Smith-Pelly centers the fourth line now with Jackman and Maroon on his wings.
Predators control the draw, and Jones from behind his own net. Seth Jones has played over 20 minutes in 11 straight games for the Preds coming into tonight. He didn't play that much in any of the first 39 games this season, so as Brian mentioned, making strides, leaps and bounds. Jones, their first-round pick from a year ago, becoming a bigger and bigger part here in Nashville. Now it's Stoner. Flips it in, and Jones goes back, jumping around him, Maroon. But the puck comes loose side of the goal. And back come the Predators. Pass in the middle intended for Järnkrok, broken up, and here's Cogliano's got Silverberg with him. He'll take the shot. Fat rebound, and it comes to Fowler, who misses Kessler and Silverberg as his pass went right between the two of them. They were both open in the slot. Back come the Ducks off the skate of Kessler. He spins it to the corner. Victor Bartley moves it away. And Jones on the backhand gets it up the wall. Wilson with his back to the play does clear the zone. Anaheim can't touch it as they have to get onside, so they'll get changes in the process.
It's a good start for the Ducks. They've been sharp. They've got to some loose pucks in the neutral zone and have created a couple of outnumbered attacks here.
Well, there have been chances as Rinne coughed it up on the game's only goal, and then he spit out a big rebound just a moment ago. Weber slides it across. Roman Josi hammers it in. Staying put is Anderson in the goal crease. Lindholm puts it back behind the net. Mike Fisher has it there. Fisher missed the first 21 games this year with an Achilles injury that required off-season surgery. Perry turns out of the corner and flips a backhand out of harm's way to center ice.
They've got surprising production out of Fisher this season. Almost a point a game since he has returned.
Josi to the corner. There's Fisher right on cue. Got a lot on that and a good left pad save by Anderson. Puck squirts into the middle of the ice and Lindholm stretches ahead. Raquel trying to move it into the middle for Bourque, but it's broken up and back come the Preds. Fisher at the end of a shift, unable to reach the pass from Josi, however. Stoner moves it ahead and it's just brushed to center ice by Ricard Raquel. Ducks will change.
Well, here in the early going, Anaheim's defense has done a nice job moving the puck, getting it away from the pressure of that speed that Nashville brings to the table, and that's obviously a huge key in a game like this.
Puck poked off the stick of Bolesky, forcing him to go offside, and will step aside. Early on in Nashville, Jakob Silfverberg, unassisted, shorthanded, and Anaheim leads early 1-0. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by the Jeep Cherokee, built free. Visit Jeep.com or your local dealer to begin your adventure today.
Well, moments ago, good bump here by Ricard Raquel. That's Roman Josi, and we talked about the fact that Josi and Weber are going to play somewhere between 26 and 30 minutes in this game tonight. So any opportunity you have to finish your check on those two gentlemen, the Ducks are going to take.
Yeah, Weber and Josi 4th and 5th in the entire league in ice time coming into tonight's game. Rinne out to play it. And back come the Predators to center. Mike Fisher on the left side. Pokes it deep into the zone as he got around Sammy Vatanen, and the puck reversed to Vatanen by Stoner, and his clear off the stick of Palmieri will come out.
Now that little reverse play can be very effective in dealing with an aggressive forecheck. There has to be good communication between the two defensive partners in order to really make it work.
Stoner battled the puck to the point. Seth Jones got it to the net. Maroon lays it back, and Lindholm converged upon as he tried to come from behind his own goal. Jackman stumbles but keeps the puck alive at center. Only as far as the Nashville stripe. Volchenkov moves it over, and here comes Ekholm in full flight up the left boards, gets it into the zone, and it squirts off the skate of Maroon into the middle of the ice. Smith-Pelly able to take it again only as far as the neutral zone. Mike Ribeiro bumped by Smith-Pelly as he moves the puck away, and Craig Smith, former University of Wisconsin Badger, plays it back. Smith will take the pass from Volchenkov, and when we got into the Anaheim zone, it comes right back to Volchenkov, and he had to settle it down before he could hammer it in.
The Ducks at times here lining up 4 defensemen across the blue line.
And a penalty for slashing coming up on Ryan Kessler as he broke the stick of the Nashville player trying to get to a loose puck. I believe it was Craig Smith.
It's the dreaded slashing the stick penalty that Ryan Kessler is frustrated with. Let's watch this play closely here. Kessler moves in beside, and you know what? He actually lifts the stick. Watch this. This isn't a slash. He goes to lift the stick, and that's what happens sometimes with these carbon fiber sticks. If you knock it at all in the wrong spot and there's a little flaw in that carbon fiber, the stick just shatters in your hands. That's a very tough call against Ryan Kessler, and he has a right to beef about that one. And by the way, I've talked to a number of supervisors of officials about that, because you know how much I love that slashing stick penalty. They've all said you don't have to call it if the stick breaks, if there's not a slashing motion. I don't believe that was a slashing motion, and that's a tough call against Ryan Kessler.
It will produce the second Nashville power play of the night. Anaheim scored shorthanded, on the earlier man advantage. And as the puck comes to Anderson, he'll scoop it up. He tries to play it out himself, but that comes after the whistle. The shorthanded goal surrendered by the Predators, just the third they have given up all season, was the first for Silfverberg on the year and the sixth on the season for the Ducks. This is a power play unit, Brian, that has come to life of late. The last 17 games, they're 27%, but still are under 17% on the season. That gives you some indication of how much they struggle. The Nashville power play, that is, early on.
Well, it's hard to believe, actually, that much like the Ducks. I mean, you look at the Ducks and you think, well, how is it possible that this team is not in the top 10 in power play proficiency? But sometimes the chemistry isn't there between all five players on the ice.
Seth Jones slides it over, and Ekholm at the line finds Wilson on the half wall. Colin Wilson moves it down low. Behind the net, it's Mike Ribeiro. He has always been a thorn in the Ducks' side, no matter who he has played for. Averages better than a point a game in his career against Anaheim. And some good work down low allows Brewer to hoist it the length of the ice.
Initially, it was the pressure from Cam Fowler. Pokes away a puck and chases it all the way into the corner. And from that point, Nashville unable to get clear possession.
They turn it over at center, but Smith-Pelly doesn't get it all the way down. Ekholm comes back to help out, and Jones behind the net will restart there. Second meeting of the year between these two teams. Nashville was 2 for 4 on the power play back on January the 4th at Honda Center against Anaheim. So while it is a struggling power play unit overall, they had some success in Anaheim. Roman Josi pulls up, finds a passing lane. Botman steps into his man. Loose puck picked up by Corey Perry. Tries to go up the middle for Cogliano. Missed him, but ices it in the process.
Botman a little bit fortunate there. That could have been a trip. So maybe the referee realized that the penalty on Ryan Kessler was not a terrific call. He gives the Ducks a little bit of a break.
15 seconds in the Nashville man advantage, and a loose puck that Lindholm has trouble getting the handle on. He reverses it up the wall. Fisher gets enough of it. Weber got it to the net. Save Anderson, and the rebound shoveled out of harm's way to the corner. Final seconds of the Nashville power play. Fisher at the blue line, saucers it over. James Neal put it right through Philip Forsberg. The penalty is over. Kessler out of the box, and the Ducks full strength. So Anaheim 2 for 2 on the kill tonight with a shorthanded goal now. Forsberg's pass broken up by Kessler, who uses the boards and gets it ahead at center. Bolesky unable to reach it, and now Boschman just plays it back to center. It's fired in by Weber, and the Predators go for changes. Anaheim changing as well, and Thompson tripped up as he came right over the boards with a puck in his feet.
They did not want to touch that puck.
Yeah.
Was not sure that the Ducks had all of the players who were changing off of the ice.
Shots 5-4 in favor of Nashville. The Ducks lead 1-0 as Fowler stick handles it to the line. Jones holds it in. Seth Jones, a native of Arlington, Texas, puts it down low. All alone in front was Gaustad, and somehow Beck didn't see him. Break for the Ducks there. Now Palmieri fails to clear. Nystrom holds it in. Bumped by Palmieri. And then hit hard by Brewer. Palmieri will drag it with him up the boards and out center ice. Slow rolling puck right to the Nashville goal, so no icing and an opportunity for both teams to change. 7:25 to go opening period. 1-0 Ducks. As Matt Cullen, the one-time Duck, sends it in and pursues to the near corner. Cullen has missed 15 games with a couple of different injuries this season. Was not in the Nashville lineup when these teams played a month ago.
The Ducks doing a good job in the D zone here, using the glass. The Predators like to activate those defensemen. They come right down to the top of the hash mark, so use the glass.
Raquel just missed. Rennie Bork, and now a floater from Vatanen, tipped on the way, and the Ducks have a 2-0 lead.
Raquel was in the vicinity, so was Gabriel Bork of the Predators. And it'll be interesting to see when we get a look at this, how this puck ends up deflecting.
I think Rickard Raquel got it.
Hard to tell from that angle. I think it's more Gabriel Bork. The official scores will get a number of different looks at that. Ducks don't care much. 2-0 lead.
Well, you talked about rust for Rinne. He coughed up the puck on the first goal. That's a deflected puck, but he just hasn't seen a whole lot of action. The Ducks have 5 shots on goal, and they have a 2-0 lead.
Yep, it's the perfect start for Anaheim in this game.
Devontae Smith-Pelly bumped hard by Paul Gausted. And Gausted puts it in the corner for Beck. Nice play by Lindholm, who stayed inside, great position, and poked it away with his stick. Maroon up the wall, forced back as Weber pinched. And now Smith-Pelly knocks down his man behind the goal. That's Eric Nystrom. Nystrom gets back up, gets it towards the net, blocked on the way by Hampus Lindholm, and thrown off the glass and out by Smith-Pelly. It's somewhat of a shocked sellout crowd at Bridgestone here so far as Roman Josi tries to go coast to coast, but he's bumped off the puck by Francois Beauchemin. Centering pass off a skate. Silverberg can't get to it. And boy, nice job by Kessler as he just dispatched of his man in the corner. That's Bork who got it back. Great save on Cullen by Anderson.
Stop. It's the forecheck pressure down low. Forces the turnover, and boy, Frederik Andersen has to come up with a beauty.
He has been sharp early, and the Ducks have made the most of their opportunities, building a 2-0 lead.
Bit of a miscue in behind Frederik Andersen. He and Hampus Lindholm going for the same puck, and there's a turnover, and it forces Frederik Andersen to make this a terrific stop with that left toe. Here's another look at the Vatanen goal. It goes between the arm and the body of Gabriel Bork, flips up, changes speeds over top of the glove of the goaltender Pekka Rinne. A thing of beauty for goal number 11 for Sami Vatanen, who is now tied with Shea Weber with 11 goals on the season.
You know, rather quietly, Vatanen has picked his offense back up of late. Got a couple of goals and 6 points in his last 11 games, including tonight, and he's a +6 in that span as well. So Vatanen's 11th of the year from Stoner and Raquel at 13:04, and the Ducks lead 2-0. Here's Cullen again, and a nice play by Fowler, who comes over to help out and poke the puck to the perimeter. Thompson taps it back, and Brewer has Predators on either flank, so he uses the glass and rims it around and out. Palmieri nearly got to it, but Seth Jones able to recover. Jones, 6 points in his last 9 games, now waits for changes off the Nashville bench. Little D-to-D pass, and the big right-hand shooting blue liner gets it ahead, back hit hard by Stoner, and the puck in the corner quickly reversed by Vatanen. Perry reaching, can't get to it, and Vatanen intercepts the shot, splits the D with a pass for Rennie Bork. Bork caught on the back check, however, by Weber.
What a great pass up the middle of the ice by Sami Vatanen there. So he's been very, very good in this game and early on.
A big collision. 3 players all go down in the corner. Rennie Bork, Gausted, and Josi all tangled with one another. Roman Josi gets the reversal from Weber, uses the boards to clear to center, where Stoner deflects it to the middle. Eric Nystrom stays on side with Taylor Beck into the Anaheim zone. Nystrom puts it behind the net. Vatanen had it for a moment, overskates it, and has to move it quickly for Stoner. Ahead for Rennie Bork, who will just feather it in off the boards. Ducks will change.
Essentially, Rickard Rakell has been elevated to take the spot of Ryan Getzlaf in the lineup as the front-line center to play with Corey Perry and with Rennie Bork in this game.
I'd like to know why they waived that icing call. Back we go. Rakell has earned it, Brian, with the assist tonight. He's got 10 points in his last 10 games. He's certainly been a much different player. Mike Ribeiro lays it back, and a shot through traffic from Balchenkov, handled by Anderson, who then gloves one from the far boards out of the air off the stick of Ekholm. The Ducks lead in Nashville 2-0 in the first.
I want to show you one tactic that the Ducks are using to try and negate all of the speed that the Predators have. It's a full control situation. The Nashville defense has possession of the puck. So we roll this forward, guys. You're going to see the Ducks with 4 people back. And stop it right here, and you're going to see one defenseman here, one defenseman on the far side. And they let the forwards take care of the middle of the ice.
Face off to the right of Anderson. And Ryan Kessler wins the draw. Kessler just under 56% on the season in the face-off circle, still top 10 in the league. Ducks try to play in the Nashville zone a little bit more than they have, despite a 2-0 lead. They have defended more than they have forced the issue in this opening period. Puck centered. Ribeiro loses it, trying to get to it. Silverberg, and he nearly came up with another one in the slot. Silverberg shorthanded and Vatanen have the goals. Cross ice pass, juggled. Ribeiro has it. You know he wants to pass. Gives it to Weber, and Anderson got just enough.
That just hits you. I mean, you have no time to react to that rocket off the stick of Shea Weber. But Frederik Anderson gets a little piece of it. Man, what a cannon. I mean, that almost overpowers the goaltender and goes into the net.
Boy, and Mike Ribeiro has really come to life for Nashville. 26 points in his last 28 games. He's now 7th in the league in assists, and he knows who to give it to, doesn't he? He put that thing on a tee for Shea Weber. Maroon trying to bring it into Nashville ice, pokes it to the middle. And on the back check, the Predators able to keep it alive as Fisher gets it to Jones. Just over 2 to go, first period, as the puck lobbed back into Anaheim ice. Stoner on the backhand clears the zone. Smith-Pelly battles it up the boards and then lobs it towards the Nashville goal. It'll go wide, however, and icing is the call.
Now here's that save by Frederik Anderson on Shea Weber. And Mike Ribeiro had time, and just leaves it for Weber, and you see Anderson actually waves at it with the left hand. He's got the traffic in front of the net and almost just flat out overpowers his hand, John. You can see the way the top of his thumb just kind of snaps backwards because of the force behind that shot by Shea Weber.
He almost folds your thumb back with that shot, doesn't he? Cullen wins the draw. Victor Bartley's shot does not get through. Hit by Stoner. It comes right back to Bartley. He looks across and gives it to Seth Jones. The two defensemen play catch. Bartley off the back glass. To the corner, Cullen has it taken away by Sammy Vatanen. Nice play by Vatanen. He drew 2 defenders, then reverses it to Stoner, who's hit hard by Gabriel Bourque, but clears off the glass, and this is going to be icing once more. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, the news includes disaster for Tiger Woods. LeBron and the Cavs go for their 12th straight against Lob City, and you have to hear why Deflategate came up at Aaron Hernandez's trial.
Never going away, is it? You told me it was going to go away, yeah, John.
It doesn't seem that way. Things that happen in the Super Bowl, in and around the Super Bowl, seem to be exaggerated from time to time. Buck 41 to go in this first period, and the face-off controlled by the Ducks. As Vatanen just moves forward, and then he plays it inadvertently into the Nashville bench. He was just trying to feather it in and get a change. They will get the change.
Boy, he's had a great period, Sammy Vatanen. Those got the legs moving tonight. He's a skater, so this has got to be a fun game for a guy like Sammy Vatanen to play in.
You got to think it's a big moment for him when he scores against fellow countryman Pekka Rinne as well.
No doubt. Sammy Vatanen, of course, the people here in Nashville tell you that Pekka Rinne really kind of turned the corner during the World Championships last spring, where he was just exceptional for the Finns.
He bats away the puck as it came off the backboards as Boschema's shot missed everything. Perry gets it down low, goes to the front of the net as he tries to convert the rebound as Bourque attempted the wraparound. Raquel behind the net, chases to the corner. Gets it back to the net. There's another rebound. Perry has his stick lifted, and the penalty coming up to the Predators. He actually had his stick chopped out of his hands, and that's going to probably come under the heading of good penalty if you're the Nashville Predators.
It's James Neal that is going to get the gate. Smart play here by Raquel. Just throws it into the feet of the goaltender. Rinne makes a mistake, leaves a huge rebound. And James Neal bats the stick out of Corey Perry's hands, and he's going to sit down. So first power play chance for the Ducks. They got a minute 4 here, and then it'll carry over into the second period if they can't get a goal with a fresh sheet of ice. So a real good situation here for the Anaheim power play.
Anaheim was 0 for 3 against Nashville on the power play a month ago at Honda Center. And there's only a minute remaining in the period as Nashville is able to ice it off the face-off. Fowler leaves it for Sammy Vatanen. And away they come. Ducks up the ice as a unit, and it's tipped into the zone by Fowler. Ekholm trying to reverse it up the wall, and he has support. And it's pitchforked the length of the ice by Nystrom.
Smart play by Ekholm there. Boy, he is quick. He can really skate. Got to that loose puck and got the key clear.
Vatanen goes up the middle. Kessler gains the line, lets it go off of Rinne and out of play. And that shot seemed to surprise Rinne as Kessler got it to him in a hurry.
Well, Kessler got it away in a hurry. And we talked about Rinne, how he uses his hands. And you could see that time, I think it was more the chicken wing. They got a little piece of that puck and knocked it over top of the glass. Kessler's got a good shot. He gets a lot of leverage on that snapshot of his. That's one of his favorites.
Fisher won the draw, but Beauchemin uses his skates to keep it in at the point, gets it back, now hands it off. Hampus Lindholm, very patient, to the side of the net, and it goes right through Corey Perry. 15 seconds left in the period as Beauchemin hit hard by Fisher in an attempt to keep it in, and the Preds clear. Anderson looks up as he handles it. Only 5 seconds left in the period. It's Lindholm from behind the net, and he's going to move it ahead, but that'll do it for the period as Perry sends it in and the horn sounds, and the Ducks take a 2-0 lead to the locker room after one.
Well, they got a great goaltending performance in the opening 20 minutes. They caught, I think, Pekka Rinne showing a few signs of rust there. He gave one away on the shorthanded goal to Silfverberg. So, boy, you come into this building and jump on Pekka Rinne and get a couple of goals in the opening 20 minutes. You have to like the job that Anaheim has done so far in this hockey game.
Anaheim 16-0-2 this season when leading after one period of play, and that's the case here at Bridgestone Arena after 20 minutes of play. Anaheim gets a shorthanded goal from Jakob Silfverberg, and they get a bounce from Sami Vatanen. 2-0 after one. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League. It's a 2-0 lead for the Anaheim Ducks across the street on Broadway at the Bridgestone Arena after one period of play. And what a period it was for Sami Vatanen, Brian.
Yeah, he was great. He had the feet moving and was on the ice for both the Ducks goals. But to me, it's the skating ability. Boy, when he's got those legs moving in the defensive zone, makes him very difficult with the opposing team to forecheck. He also helps the breakout immensely. And of course, when you're having the kind of night that Vatanen is having, good things tend to happen. And that was a kind of a seeing eye shot that results in a goal. We're joined now down on the Anaheim bench by assistant coach Brad Lauer. And Brad, you know, your power play is starting to click. Over 30% in the last 10 games without Ryan Getzlaf. You know, I asked Trent Yawney, does it change the game plan without Getzlaf? But how about the power play without Ryan Getzlaf? Do things change?
Well, we have to move some personnel around, but I think, you know, for the most part, when we work on it in practice, we switch guys in and out of what we're doing it, so we should be familiar with each other.
We'll look forward right now. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, guys.
Nashville has only 2 regulation losses in this building in 23 games this season. So you know Peter Laviolette's team has a lot more to give in the final 2 periods as there's just under a minute remaining in the penalty to James Neal to begin this second period.
When we were talking with Bruce Boudreau and we asked him for the similarities between these two teams, he said, well, first and foremost, they're like us. They don't give up. They always think they can come back and win. And so stylistically, they're very different. Personnel-wise, I think they're very different. As Boudreau pointed out, the Ducks are bigger. They are faster. But that one similarity, that never quit kind of attitude, has served both teams extremely well this year.
Resiliency. And 50 seconds left on the Anaheim power play, and right off the bat they're going to be called for icing as they did not get a touch on that pass in the neutral zone. And we got another penalty here. I didn't see this interference call against Paul Gaustad.
Oh, this is big. Now 47 seconds remaining on the original penalty against James Neal. So 5-on-3 for the next 47 seconds. Keep an eye on the right side of their screen, kind of towards the middle of the ice. Gaustad was involved with Ricard Raquel. Peter Laviolette looks confused. Gaustad looked a little confused as he went over.
What an opportunity as Anaheim has a 2-man advantage now for nearly 45 seconds, and they win the faceoff. Vatanen across the line and unable to take it off his skate, though, is marooned, so Fisher angles it back. Half a minute in the 2-man advantage as Vatanen takes the pass, nudges it ahead for Kessler. Protects the puck, middle of the ice. Fowler hands it off. Hammered on the one-timer. And Rinne over to get the puck off the stick of Perry.
Cam Fowler You know, you got a goal scorer like Corey Perry. Fowler's in the middle of the ice. He dishes it off to Perry. And, you know, to me, there's a little bit of scouting report. Pekka Rinne's not a goaltender that over-challenges. So, you know, those cross-ice passes are a lot easier for him to deal with than some other netminders.
Thompson, who won 5 of 6 draws in the opening period, wins this one. Fowler takes it off his skate. 15 seconds in the two-man advantage. Perry, bottom of the right circle. Now out high, hammered by Vatanen. Oh, and the rebound skips away from Perry, who had a lot of net to shoot at. Fowler able to recover it, and again it's Vatanen in the middle of the ice. 5 seconds in the first penalty. Fowler slides it over, back to Vatanen. His shot is blocked out of the zone, and look out, Vatanen will have to come back and get it before Neal, who comes out of the box, can get there. Still over a minute of power play time as Neal joins the play. It's now a 5-on-4. Puck glove behind the Anaheim goal, and Kessler wins a puck battle to get it around the boards for Beauchemin. Nice look by Vatanen across to Kessler. He couldn't take it off his skate, though. Ekholm fails to clear. Kessler shovels it along, and Maroon to the corner got there. Kessler spun around, pokes it free in front. Corey Perry, what a save by Rinne!
Oh, boy, he had space. The long legs of Corey Perry and Pekka Rinne come into play here. Watch the reach of Perry. He gets it past the goal stick. He thinks he's got a wide open net. And the reaction of the left leg of Pekka Rinne. Look at this. Rinne goes fishing with the poke check and misses. Boy, he is fortunate that that puck does not get underneath the left knee. Remember, it was a knee strain that took Pekka Rinne out of the lineup. And you see that kind of flexibility, and you wonder, how is it possible that he gets a knee strain?
Anaheim knocks down a clearing attempt. Good play by Silverberg as he keeps it deep. I think it was Bolesky who knocked down the pass, keeping it in the Nashville zone. Now Rinne behind the net, throws it into the net. That's going to be another penalty.
Yeah, and again, a mistake made by the goaltender, Pekka Rinne. This puck just rolls on him as he's handling it. And he is, boy, kind of just sticks right to the blade. That's a bad break for Pekka Rinne, but it's going to cost him 2 minutes, and so 19 seconds now of 5-on-3 power play time for the Ducks.
So the Predators have been shorthanded the entire second period. And 2 minutes up on the clock, Gabriel Bourque will serve the penalty to Rinne, and this faceoff is critical. If Kessler can win it, Anaheim can try to do something with the two-man advantage, and he does. He got some help from Perry, who swipes it back. Fowler gives it back to him. Coming into the lane, Vatanen hammers one, and that one comes back off the glass to Perry. Steps in front. Again, drops it back for Vatanen. In the slot, gives it to Fowler. His shot tipped over top of the goal. Comes around, Vatanen able to hold the zone. Now Gausted's penalty is over. Fowler lets it go just wide.
Well, Rinne never saw that shot. It was a good low shot that missed the far post by just a couple of inches.
Vatanen unable to battle the puck into the zone. Kessler moves it ahead for Maroon. Poked off his stick. Gausted gets to it behind the net. Off the boards, Vatanen waits at the right point to hold it in. Steps into a shot pass that Perry didn't see. Perry gets it back. Kessler in the slot. His shot blocked. Got it back. Vatanen recovers and now settles things down from the top of the right circle. Takes the shot. Just missed. Waving at it with the blocker was Rinne. Fowler holds it into the corner for Kessler. Right back to the point. They overload the left side of the zone. Now Vatanen open right point. His shot tipped over top by Maroon.
A nice looking play. The shot passed by Vatanen.
Vatanen holds the line. Great individual effort to do that. Maroon finds Kessler alone in the slot. Poked off his stick.
Oh, Weber with the poke check.
Perry was dumped in front. The Ducks keep it in, and Kessler's shot is blocked to center ice. I don't know if Nashville can get changes, however, as the Ducks are changing, and Perry brings it right back in. This is a tired penalty-killing unit. Beauchemin with a drive, and Rinne helps his team out as he'll hold on.
What a stop. What a stop by Rinne with the left hand. And this is what I was talking about with Rinne and how well he uses those hands. This shot's about a foot off the ice. May even have been deflected. Here's that play by Shea Weber. He's beaten on the play. Kessler's got him. But he never quits, swings around with a little sweep check and knocks the puck clear.
Silverberg off the faceoff gets a chance. Rinne left the rebound laying around, but Silverberg couldn't get it to the net. He keeps it alive a couple of times, and finally, Seth Jones gets it out.
Well, Jakob Silverberg is having a real good night, too. And not only because of that opening goal, he's generated a bunch of chances with his speed.
Here's Raquel speeding in on right wing. Cuts to the middle, hands it off. Bolesky scores! What a play by Raquel. Anaheim's up 3-0.
What a pass by Raquel. Beautiful feed into the middle, and Matt Bolesky just snaps it up into the top corner. But this is all Raquel, and this is patience and vision, and he's waiting for Bolesky to get open. But you know, we're talking about Rickard Raquel and his emergence here as another scoring threat for the Ducks. He just walks completely around Ekholm, dishes it off for Bolesky, and credit Matt Bolesky. That is a tough puck to one time from Matt Bolesky. He shows great strength in those forearms to snap that puck up into the top corner.
Now Raquel has a couple of assists now tonight, and Anaheim up 3-0. The goal came 1 second after the power play had expired, so it'll be an even strength goal. Bolesky, for the first time in his 7-year career, is a 20-goal scorer. Postma will get the other helper as Jackman trickles it to the net, and Rene covers up.
The Ducks have quieted this crowd at Bridgestone Arena here, and Rene has got himself into a little bit of trouble, John. He's made another mental error on that delay a game penalty. Continued to put his team in a hole, and the Ducks took advantage. But what a play by Rickard Raquel. My goodness.
Now, we've talked about him playing more confidently for the last month, and it just shows. I mean, that was a whale of a play as he made a couple defenders miss coming off the right boards, and Bolesky, the recipient of his good fortune. Now Silfverberg knocks it down, tries to center. Cogliano was tied up, but Kessler gets to it. Ducks have a lot of jump in their step here early in the second. Silfverberg lays it back, and Brewer serves it over to Fowler. Long wrist shot, tipped in! Silfverberg got a stick on it. It's 4-0.
Well, this is another little snapshot that Cam Fowler throws towards the front of the net, and it's a long redirect by Jakob Silfverberg. There's the touch. Rene's already going the opposite way, and it is right up into the short side top corner. Not much chance for Pekka Rinne to react on that, quite honestly, and a big smile on the face of Jakob Silfverberg, his second goal of the night.
And he's being rewarded, as you've mentioned. We've talked about it. Peter Laviolette's going to use his time out here, but Silfverberg's played wonderfully so far in this game, and he's reaping the benefits. A 2-goal game. He has his 7th and 8th of the season, and the Ducks lead 4-0, just 4.5 into the second period.
Silfverberg, and you see Peter Laviolette talking with his star netminder, Pekka Rinne, and he's saying, look, I'm sure they're talking about do you want to stay in? Do you want to take a break here? Do we want to go with Carter Hutton? We want you to battle through this, but he's also saying, hey, look, they've got a couple of unfortunate bounces that have resulted in goals.
This month, the best drivers in the world will push themselves and their cars to the limits. It's the 57th running of the Great American Race. Be there as NASCAR drops the flag on another season. Catch the Legends' last ride as Jeff Gordon begins his final year behind the wheel. The Daytona 500 begins Sunday, February 22nd at noon Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
John, I don't know that I've ever seen that before. That the goaltender, after giving up the goal, has... Oh, boy!
Perry very nearly made it 5-0.
I think it's off the post.
Yeah, it did hit the post.
I think Corey Perry had Pekka Rinne out of position again, and Rinne very, very fortunate.
An icing call against Anaheim right off the timeout. Perry from the corner gets to a loose puck, and look where Rinne is when he takes this shot.
Well, you know what? He makes a bad decision when he handles the puck, and then he loses an edge. There's no one around him, and he falls down, and he's in a terrible spot. Boy, Corey Perry, if that one goes in, that would have been it for Pekka Rinne. I can guarantee you that much.
Bourque able to block the point shot, pushes it back into Nashville ice, and Anaheim will get changes coming off the icing call. Ekholm slides it over. James Neal into the Anaheim zone. Former Pittsburgh Penguin and Dallas Star gets it to the net, and a blocker save by Anderson enables Anaheim to clear.
Well, the danger here for the Ducks is that they do not want to just sit back. They want to keep pushing the pace. They've had success from getting pucks in deep and forcing the Predators' defense into turning pucks over, but those good outlet passes are great.
There's a good outlet pass there as Palmieri strides into Nashville ice. Ekholm all over him, takes him out behind the goal. Ribeiro tips it along and it'll come out center. Bolesky, who has one of the 4 goals, back to get it for Anaheim. Angles it off the wall. Smith-Pelly denied at the blue line, and it's deflected out of play off the stick of Mattias Ekholm.
I like the speed away from the puck. I want to get back to Peter Laviolette. I've never seen that when a goaltender comes over to the bench during a timeout and the coach doesn't talk to the rest of the team. He has a private little consult with Pekka Rinne. I mean, he certainly knows where his bread is buttered. He's been his best player all season long, and Laviolette is one of those guys that is very much a player's type coach. He's a guy that
Predators control the draw. Nice pass by Seth Jones off the stick of Craig Smith, and Anderson will cover as it comes right to the Anaheim goal mouth. Shots are 16-11 in favor of Anaheim. The Ducks with 2 in the first and 2 in the early going here in the second. And it is a rather docile Bridgestone Arena right now. 4-0 Ducks. Smith-Pelly wins the faceoff from Mike Fisher. Fisher's a pretty accomplished faceoff man himself. Rimmed around the boards, Jackman carries into the Nashville zone. Goes to the net, and it's scooped up by Rinne as Smith-Pelly was trying to find Jackman heading to the goal. But it's Bolesky and then Silverberg here in the second, and the Ducks have doubled their lead in the middle frame. 4-0 in Nashville.
It has been quite a night so far for Jakob Silverberg. It's a gift from Pekka Rinne. And then later on, the long redirect by him. It's perfect up into the top corner. Goal number 2 for Jakob Silverberg, but he has really been skating in this game, and I like the aggressiveness with which he has attacked Pekka Rinne and that Nashville goal crease.
Anderson comes out to clear a loose puck, and the Ducks perhaps have numbers. 3-on-2. Cogliano storms in, pulls up, takes the shot. Rinne hangs on.
It's the right decision by Andrew Cogliano. I mean, you got to make sure when you're on a rush like that, number 1, that you get a shot. Number 2, that you hit the net. If that puck is shot by Cogliano and it goes wide, then the Predators are coming the other way with numbers. So he doesn't score on the play, but it's the right decision made by number 7.
Anaheim's defense has really contributed tonight. 5 of the 6 blue liners dressed for this game already have points tonight. Sami Vatanen has a goal. Only Hampus Lindholm has not appeared on the score sheet so far. Stoner, Brewer, Fowler, all picking up assists to this point, as well as Francois Beauchamp. 4-0 Ducks. We're in the second in Nashville. Weber reverses it, and this is just going to be an icing call here against the Predators. Once again this season, American Honda sponsoring our 3-star leaderboard. Each time a Duck player is named as a star of the game, we assign them a point total. The number 1 star gets 5. Number 2 star 3, and the number 1 star is given a point. Ryan Getzlaf not in the lineup tonight, but getting closer to Freddie Anderson.
And it's kind of interesting, John, that you have Josi and Weber, and they were expecting to be playing against Ryan Getzlaf all night. He's kept that matchup. He's kept Josi and Weber on the ice against Corey Perry, but the Ducks have spread their offensive assets throughout the lineup. And boy, has it ever worked.
Because it was an icing call, Calle Jarnkrok is not allowed to be thrown from the circle, and that's what the linesman did. So good communication as the near side linesman came over and said, no, Jarnkrok's got to go back in there. And he opposes Rennie Bourque, who wins the draw. Stoner's shot from the point is blocked out center. And Vatanen with a fluttering puck waits for it to settle as he serves it back in.
Well, the reason why they changed that rule is because they thought too many teams would change the centerman almost intentionally to buy a little bit of time after an icing, and that it took away a little bit of the advantage of the team that drew the icing in the first place. Quite often the team that iced the puck would be tired.
Ducks work it to center. Perry has it knocked away by Josi. And Ribeiro with a cross-corner dump to the far side. Stoner trying to chip it ahead, but James Neal took it away, rolls it right to the goal mouth. Anderson wanted to play on, And that created a little bit of trouble. Finally gloved down by Ricard Raquel. Colin Wilson weaves on the right boards, puts it behind the net. Neal was tied up. Ribeiro couldn't get there. Ekholm pinches to keep it alive. Stoner moves it along, but now it's Volchenkov who pinches to keep it in the zone. Ekholm got it through. Anderson with the stop. Wilson gives it back to Ekholm. The Swede slides it over, and his Russian D partner Volchenkov misfires. James Neal keeps it alive, right down low, and it's centered and swatted away as Vatanen beat Neal to it.
Duck need a whistle here. They are tired.
Shoveled into the front of the net, and Stoner tries to backhand it out, but can't get it by Ekholm. A knuckleball by Neal that is grabbed off by Frederik Andersen.
Well, Clayton Stoner is a veteran guy. He's got all kinds of experience. The Ducks are running around. Watch what he does here. He just stays home in front of the net. Does not worry about putting pressure on Wilson down low. Just takes the cross-ice pass. Good, smart defensive play by Clayton Stoner. Nothing fancy, but very effective.
You can see it's been all Ducks in this second period. Not only have they found the back of the net twice, but they're out shooting the Predators by a wide margin. Fisher wins the draw. Seth Jones lets it go in and out of the glove of Anderson. Loose rebound swept wide on the spinorama there as Fisher got to it. Forsberg behind the net, trying to keep it alive, and Lindholm pulls it off the back of the Anaheim goal. Puts it on the backhand and away to center. Here come the Ducks. Valesky joined on the rush by Thompson. Couldn't get it over to him as Jones stepped in front of the pass. Smith with a shot kicked away by Anderson. And again, the Ducks start up ice with it, but they forgot to bring it with them, and now Palmieri rolls it back. They'll wave the icing as Bartley gets to it.
We talked about the active Nashville defense because they're trailing in the game. That was a strange play. Good thing a Duck wasn't near him, or he probably would have gone to the box.
Victor Bartley just trying to make a pass, and his stick broke in two. And Anaheim now flips it back. Rene came out to clear the shrapnel away, and Yarncroke comes back and is treated rudely in the corner by Smith-Pelly. He whips it around, and Fowler activates to keep it deep. Smith-Pelly has it on the end boards. Boy, Devontae had a little more time, I think, than he thought he was going to have with that puck. Brewer keeps it deep. Jackman pursues, and Bourque for Nashville pays the price. Roman Josi told to wheel by his netminder, Pecorine, and forced to reverse it back for Shea Weber.
And you know what? As soon as he releases the puck, Pat Maroon does a good job. Make sure he gets over to Josi, a little bit of body contact.
Josi carries the mail into the Anaheim zone, lays it back. Ekholm trying to find a shooting lane. Goes wide, got it through. Anderson made the save. Cullen had a bit at the rebound, and he's frustrated as Anderson denies him.
That's a big stop by Frederik Andersen. This puck was thrown through a crowd, and I don't believe Anderson sees the initial shot here by Ekholm, and the rebound sits there for Matt Cullen. Boy, he had a little time. He knew he had to pick one of the corners, but this is the thing about Frederik Andersen. Big man, clamps those elbows in tight to his body, and he keeps the shoulders high, protecting the top of the net. So you got to hit a corner to beat him.
We have reached the halfway mark of the hockey game with the Ducks on top in Nashville 4-0. And it's lobbed out center ice. Silverberg has it land right in front of him, and he's onside into the Nashville zone. Throws a long wrister to the net. Rene hangs on to that. The Ducks doing all the scoring so far in Nashville. Anaheim with a 4-0 lead halfway through in Nashville. And this is what's on the line tonight. Not only are the Ducks and Predators tied for the top spot in the West and the NHL, but now Nashville finds himself in a tie atop the Central Division, Brian.
Well, no one hotter than the St. Louis Blues, for sure. And they got it done with a 3-0 whitewash of the Buffalo Sabres in tonight's game. So I got to believe. Players always say that they don't pay any attention to the standings or the out-of-town scoreboards. They're lying.
Anaheim wins the draw in the Nashville zone. Ekholm shovels it along, and Taylor Beck gets it ahead. Eric Nystrom for the Predators into the Anaheim zone, and his bid blocked by Sami Vatanen. Puck jammed out by Ryan Kessler, and it's Silverberg who pursues. Ekholm gloves it down, and Vatanen cheated. Beck brings it into the Anaheim zone and fires wide. Rim back around to him, and he kicks it up to his stick from behind the net. Engaged by Vatanen, and he comes away with the puck with some good support from Clayton Stoner.
The only time in this game where Sammy Vatanen has moved forward and the puck has got by him.
Beck fell down, and Lindholm got to the loose puck, firing it wide off a deflection. Kept in at the near point by Francois Beauchemin. He stays there and keeps it in again. Volchenkov, bought out last year by New Jersey, then signed as a free agent here in Nashville. Can't clear. And Perry from behind the net wires it right back through the top of the crease. Lindholm falling away, got the shot through, and Rinne serves it right back into the slot. Well, Perry got to it but couldn't get it on net. Now he battles down low with Ekholm. Keeps it moving for Rennie Bourque. Bourque finds an open point, and it's Beauchemin. Walks the line, back to Bourque. Near circle, Rickard Rakell. And Nashville just looking to get the puck out of the zone right now.
And we talked about matchups. And this is one of the few times that this line's been on the ice.
One-timer by Perry on a nice backhand pass from Rakell, and Rinne will give everybody a break.
I'm going to say, without having to face Shea Weber or Roman Josi, and the Ducks hang on to the puck. Good stop there by Pekka Rinne. Snares that with the left hand. Here was that puck that got tipped right by Sammy Vatanen, and the shot. I don't know if Frederik Andersen got a little piece of the bid by Beck there or not. But a good aggressive save by the goaltender, Freddie Andersen.
Face-off to the right of Pekka Rinne, who has seen 21 shots to this point and made 17 saves. Predators control and clear. Fowler backs into his own zone with it. His outlet pass ahead, made it to Bolesky, but he couldn't matriculate the puck any further down the ice. Now it's Rinne out to sweep it away, and Roman Josi uses the boards. Gabriel Bourque's pass intercepted by Eric Brewer, who lays it back to Fowler. Fowler looks off the defender, that was Cullen, and finds space up the right boards. Back to get it is Josi, a Swiss native, forced to circle his own net as he got tangled up with Kyle Palmieri. Weber finds some open ice as he's pursued by Smith-Pelly. Cullen tried to dump it in, but that was denied by Stoner, who didn't give him any room. Now this should be icing against Nashville, and it is. Get the 2015 Stanley Cup playoff priority now when you get a Corey Perry 10-game pack. See Detroit, Ottawa, and LA amongst the opponents. AnaheimDucks.com/10-game pack is where you go on the interweb for more information.
Bruce Boudreau was talking a lot to us about the gaps and keeping the gaps between the back-checking Anaheim players and their own defense nice and tight. They've done a really good job of that.
Vatanen knocks down a clearing attempt and now churns on with it from the bottom of the circle. He gets it through. He pays the price from Weber, and Rinne covers up.
He's challenging people even in the offensive zone, so you know the confidence sky high. Watch this. He tries to go between the legs of Shea Weber, and Weber just says, enough of that, kid.
Face off to the left of Rinne. Nashville will stay home after this one, as on Friday they will play host to the New York Rangers. Or excuse me, the game will take place on Saturday as Rinne covers this one off the end boards. The Ducks will go on from here to the nation's capital, where tomorrow the back end of back-to-backs will see them take on Bruce Boudreau's old team, the Washington Capitals.
Capitals also playing tonight, so no advantage in terms of the back-to-back scenario for them.
Yeah, they're on the road as well, so both teams are almost mirror images. Travel in late. Seth Jones handles it for Nashville. Tees one up just wide. Lindholm bumped off the puck down low as it's recovered by Philip Forsberg. Spin move by Jones at the line. It squirts into the middle of the ice, and the Ducks able to clear. Smith-Pelly nudged it ahead, and now Maroon finds Lindholm joining the rush. Hampus has Jackman in front, tries to get it through about 3 different Predators, and that's denied. Eric Nystrom comes up with it and moves it the other way.
The Ducks really working away from the puck to continue to put pressure on these Nashville defensemen, not make life easy for them.
Brewer bumped hard by Jones, reverses away from a couple Nashville defenders. Now Wilson all over and takes it away. Finds James Neal. His shot is blocked by Fowler. Volchenkov keeps it in. Down low for Colin Wilson. Wilson, out of Boston University, now plays it behind the net, and it's Mike Ribeiro. Ribeiro comes high in the zone, almost lost the handle, keeps it in, flipped it ahead, but it was batted down with a rule by the high stick of Ryan Kessler. So we will step aside, just under 6 to go in the second in Nashville.
So there's in the middle of your screen the youngster Philip Forsberg, who is one of the candidates to win the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year. Plus 24 rating. He's already got 17 goals, but boy, he has been quiet, and he has not been playing very much in this game. And I think that explains the expression on his face. Doesn't look too happy right now. He's just played a little bit over 7 minutes so far in this hockey game. And so obviously the head coach, Peter Laviolette, not too pleased with Mr. Forsberg so far tonight.
Came into tonight's game with 3 assists in his last 2. He's already established Nashville rookie records for assists and points in a season, and is only a couple goals shy of the rookie goal scoring record as well. Ducks keep the pressure on in the Nashville zone, and Weber picks it off the end boards. Rennie Bork took it back. Finds an open Vatanen. Quick shovel pass off the stick of Raquel. Recovered by Perry.
Ducks doing a good job cycling pucks, but when in doubt, it goes deep. I mean, and that's the big key.
Ribeiro backhands it ahead. Colin Wilson gets in and misses the net. Fat rebound to James Neal, and Anderson able to recover.
That's a good stop on the recovery.
Wilson again gets it to the net, blocked on the way. As Vatanen was knocked down, but he was able to get a skate on it. It's sent all the way back, no icing, so the Ducks will get a change. Just under 5 to play, second period. 4-0 Anaheim as Boschma moves it up the middle. Palmieri with a strike at center to Bolesky. Takes a shot that's off the leg of Volchenkov. Former Ottawa Senator and New Jersey Devil has always been a good shot blocker. Volchenkov moves it along. And his defense partner, Ekholm, uses the glass to send it all the way down. No icing, says the linesman. And Boschma moves it quickly. Lindholm put it on the glass. Trapped by Volchenkov, who's just run over and forced out of the zone. Good play there by Nate Thompson. Well, this is just a shift of puck battles in the Anaheim zone. Cullen picked up by Boschman. Thompson trying to keep him to the outside. He centers it, and Järnkrok swing and a miss on the one-timer. Now from the near side, Bartley got it through, or excuse me, it was Ekholm, and Anderson is able to get the whistle.
And it's a good stop by Freddie Anderson, and again, he is perfectly square to this puck. So watch what happens when the shot gets hammered in here. Anderson's going to take it up high in the chest. He just drops down, and the puck stays immediately in front of him. And that's what happens when goaltenders are square to the initial shot. May have caught him a little bit on the mask there as he takes a peek, make sure that the artwork is still intact.
You have to get some touch-up paint. Face-off win for the Predators, and Victor Bartley's shot blocked on the way, picked out of the near circle by Brewer. Tipped ahead, and here comes Ryan Kessler. Across the line, he has Maroon with him, drags it into the middle, poke check, trailing the play. Brewer can't get it through. Nice play by Seth Jones. And now Maroon out of the corner, rolls off a check, still has it in his feet. Kicked along by Smith-Pelly. Jackman battles for it down low. Mike Fisher has it in his skates and frees it up for Jones. Oh, they rule that one came across the blue line as Fowler thought he had kept it in, so offside is the result.
Yeah, good read by Cam Fowler. He may have been just a split second late to get to that one, but I do like the way Anaheim's defense continues to hold the offensive blue line and keep pucks in and force Nashville to play in their own end.
Down to 3:13 now to play in the second period. The first of a 5-game road trip for Anaheim. It will take them to Washington, Tampa, Florida, Carolina before they return home to Southern California. Predators riding a 9-game home winning streak, but it's 4-0 right now, Ducks. Cogliano able to sweep it out, a slow rolling puck. I don't think this will go far enough for icing. Oh my goodness, it did. And icing is the call.
Ducks too early yet to really start working on the clock, but boy, it's got to be a sweet feeling over on that Anaheim bench to hear how quiet this building is. I mean, this is the best home team in the National Hockey League. Their record, again, worth mentioning, 20 wins, just 2 regulation losses, and 1 overtime loss this year. 22-1 at home.
Yeah, riding a franchise record 9-game home win streak coming into this one. You and I were talking before the game, Brian. The majority of their schedule the rest of the way is in this building, including tonight. 18 of their last 32 games will be played right here at Bridgestone Arena. Right off the draw, Anderson hangs on.
Peter Laviolette has come in and he has changed the way this team plays. And you know, part of that, of course, is the personnel. He's got a lot of weapons, especially back on the blue line with Ekholm and Jones now, the youngsters coming, the emergence of Yossi. They're fun to watch. Tonight, the Ducks have really had their number.
Thompson and Wilson take the draw to the left of Anderson, and Nate Thompson wins it. Boschma sends a pass through his own goal crease. Silverberg turned away in the neutral zone, and now Francois hoists it to the far corner of the Nashville zone. Weber sends it around. Yossi has it poked off his stick, picked up by Corey Perry. Perry brings it to the front. Backhander trickles loose in the slot. Rene thought he was sitting on top of it, but it ends up behind the goal. Perry gets it back. Lindholm slides it over. Boschma misfires. Perry in the corner again, left point. To Hampus Lindholm, whose shot is deflected wide by Roman Yossi.
Very fortunate he's not picking the puck out of the net again.
Ducks take it away from Yossi and once more, and Kessler and Perry with a little 2-man game down low, joined by Rennie Bourque. Rennie Bourque comes away with it. Serves it down low. Wilson sends it back from where it came. Big collision in the corner. As again, Anaheim not letting Nashville come out of the zone easily.
I'll tell you, John, Rennie Bourque was impressed as well in this game. He's done a good job protecting pucks. He's made good decisions when to get pucks in deep. This is one of his best games he has played in the Ducks uniform as well.
2 goals from Jakob Silverberg, 1 from Sammy Vatanen, and another from Matt Bolesky. It's 4-0 Anaheim. Eric Nystrom into the Duck zone, hits the brakes in the corner. Kept to the outside by Thompson. His pass escapes the zone at the point as Ekholm couldn't field it cleanly, and then rolls it across and gets it back from Volchenkov. Dumps it in, and it's kicked behind the goal. Gausted trying to work it loose for Nashville. Kessler comes in there. Fowler gets to it below the goal line in his own end and then reverses it for Ryan Kessler. Under a minute to go in a second period that saw the Ducks score twice early on to double their lead as they were on top 2-0 after the first, and now I believe it's going to be an interference call here on Eric Brewer.
Oh, this is a tight call against Brewer. He went to slap the puck out, and Matt Cullen was right in front of him. And then he interferes with Cullen, who's trying to get to the loose puck. And there was about 1.5 foot separation initially between Cullen or Brewer. And Cullen does a good job of drawing the call. Here was that play where, the goaltender is swimming again. Corey Perry just throws it. And look at the fat rebound. He almost whiffs on it. And Corey Perry almost pokes another rebounder behind Pekka Rinne.
So for Nashville, their 3rd power play of the night with under a minute to go in the period, and Yossi's shot is blocked by Thompson. Predators are 0 for 2 and have surrendered a shorthanded goal tonight. Kessler, as he's falling, able to work the puck out of the zone. Anaheim just wants to break this penalty kill into 2 parts. They want to get to the locker room, and there would be just over a minute of power play time for the Predators if that were the case. Nice move by Forsberg, who gets into the middle, handed it off to Fisher, wanted to pull the trigger, but it rolled off his stick. And Silverberg blocks it, angles it ahead for Cogliano. He got tripped up in the neutral zone, and a penalty coming up to Nashville here that will nullify the remainder of their power play.
It's the speed, again, of Silverberg and Cogliano that has really frustrated the Predators. It wasn't much of a trip, not much contact there, but he gets into the left leg of Andrew Cogliano, and it's tripping penalty against Shea Weber. So the most dangerous weapon on the blue line that the Predators have sits in the box. That's good news for Anaheim.
4-on-4 as just under 12 seconds remains in the period. And the face-off will be in the Nashville zone. So Nate Thompson out to take it. These teams will play one more time this season, March the 15th at Honda Center. And Thompson wins the draw. Boschema just brushes it back, and Lindholm sends it behind the net. Perry in front and went right through Thompson. 3 seconds in the period as Ribeiro looks up, fakes the shot, and the horn sounds. The second period is complete. But Anaheim took command of this game with 2 early goals in this period, and they lead by 4 after 2.
You know what? You could argue that the opening period, Anaheim was fortunate to have a 2-goal lead, but they dominated this second period. They dominated so many different parts of the game, and they have put forth a very disciplined effort on the defensive side of the puck tonight that has slowed down this explosive and fast Nashville team. As good as we've seen, John, in terms of controlling the neutral zone this season.
2 in the first and 2 early in the second for Anaheim. Matt Bolesky and Jakob Silfverberg doing the honors. And the Ducks are in control in Nashville after 40 minutes of play. Our score, Anaheim 4, Nashville 0. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the National Hockey League. The Tennessee State Capitol all lit up at night, and Anaheim has lit up Nashville through the first 2 periods. 4-0, the Ducks have the lead. As we look at our Hyundai game summary and what a night it has been for Jakob Silfverberg. 5 shots on goal plus 3. His 4th career 2-goal game. Rickard Rakell staying hot. 11 points now in his last 10 games, all while they're stepping up for injured Ryan Getzlaf, who's not in the lineup. And oh, by the way, Casey, the goalie's been pretty good, too.
Yes, he certainly has. Stopped all 22. You have got to figure that there's going to be a push here in the early going from the Predators, and we will start with plenty of open ice 4-on-4 hockey for the first minute and 8 seconds of the third period. So, no time yet for Bruce Boudreau to really relax in this game, because he knows that Nashville has been a team that has come from behind many times this season. It's a pretty big deficit for them to make up. First 5 minutes, the Ducks would love to just completely shut them down.
The Ducks without a regulation loss when leading after 2 this year. They're 20-0-2. And they begin with the puck as the third period is underway. A penalty to Brewer has 55 seconds remaining. If that expires without any further penalties, Anaheim would have a brief 41-second power play on the back end. Seth Jones strides into the Anaheim zone, drops it off, and Ribeiro's shot is deflected out of play.
I want to go back to the little 4-on-4 hockey and see how the Ducks continue to be aggressive. Right side of your screen, look at Hampus Lindholm. He is wide open. Seth Jones is able to knock a puck out of midair with that stick. Otherwise, Lindholm's in alone on a breakaway. But this is a really good sign that the Ducks just aren't sitting back. The fact that Lindholm is pushing the pace, seizing the opportunity to jump into what was a huge gap.
Fisher wins the draw. Roman Josi drives up the right boards, walks in, and a save by Anderson. Jones at the far point holds it in, and Josi rims it around. Fisher got inside on Nate Thompson. Now tries to bring it back out in front. Quick shot just misses from Yarncroke as he caught and released that all in one motion. Fisher right back in. Drops it off. Josi shot. Gloved by Anderson, who hangs on.
A good stop by Freddie Anderson. I don't know if that puck was actually on the net, but the Predators get a couple of good scoring chances here in the 4-on-4. Here's the drop pass. Quick little shot, no problem. No, that's going wide, and Freddie Anderson doesn't care much. He just flashes a little bit of the leather and makes it look pretty darn easy, doesn't he?
Well, when he's going good, it's an economy of motion, to say the least. 12 seconds left in Brewers' penalty. And then the Ducks would have a 41-second power play as they win the draw, and Fowler reverses Sami Vatanen, forced behind the goal. Carefully makes his way to center ice with it. Brewers out of the box, the Ducks on the power play. Vatanen puts it in off the glass. Perry can't get it back to him, though, as Nystrom stepped in the way. Eric Nystrom starts back. Short-handed rush. Gaustad drives the net. Nystrom finds a trailer. Bartley blocked. Nice play by Fowler.
Even short-handed, they are coming. The Predators, they're not going to go away quietly here.
Vatanen's pass up the middle off the stick of Cullen, so no icing. And Rakell gets inside on Bartley and then falls on top of the puck along the base of the dasher. Maroon tries to dig it out. Perry knocked it down in the corner. The penalty is over to Weber. The Predators full strength. Vatanen moves it back to Perry on the hash mark. He fires it wide. It'll come left point to a waiting Cam Fowler. He just pitches it up the boards. Stumbling is Maroon as he goes back to get it. Rakell trying to get it to the net. Anaheim now 0 for 4 on the power play tonight as Perry's shot skips wide.
Look at the D-though. The defense still coming down off of the blue line and keeping pucks in the offensive zone.
Kessler watches Ekholm from the other side of the Nashville net. He's content to let him stay there for another 17 and a half minutes if he wants to. Long stretch pass to Forsberg. Fought off by Anderson, and the rebound put right back into the Anaheim netminder by Craig Smith.
One of the first pucks that's hit Anderson in the chest and bounced into a real dangerous area.
Smith from behind the net serves it out, and a fluttering shot that is fought off by the glove of Frederik Andersen. Kessler's pass bounces through Cogliano and Josi. Back to get it for Nashville. Up the board, Smith moves it into the middle. Mike Ribeiro into the Anaheim zone. Ribeiro drops it off for Josi, and he's immediately stepped into by Vatanen and Kessler. Puck pops up in the air. Cogliano slides it over. The open man is Stoner. He'll get the red line and get it deep. Anaheim goes for changes just over 3 minutes into the third. They lead 4-0 in Nashville. Ribeiro plays it into the Anaheim zone. Stoner hinges over to get to it. Puts it in his skates, kicks it along the dasher. Colin Wilson can't get it back, and the Ducks clear.
Great support as Nate Thompson comes across, comes to the aid of Stoner. Those little plays in the defensive zone make all the difference in the world.
Neal pursuing the puck, can't get to it, and using the glass, Thompson clears. Seth Jones winds it up through the middle of the ice and into the Anaheim zone. Hands it off on the wing, and a nice save by Anderson. Rebound, score, Colin Wilson.
The Predators are pushing the envelope here, and they get rewarded. No chance for the goaltender Anderson on this one. There's the rebound comes out. There's 3 Anaheim players surrounding the puck, but none of them can locate it. And Wilson just cashes in a fat rebound, and they have reduced the deficit to 3. Remember, Anderson's made 2 or 3 good stops in this third period. This is an explosive team in Nashville.
It was Victor Bartley who got the shot on net off the wing, and Wilson converts the rebound for a career-high 17th. So Anaheim has to receive the push here from Nashville and perhaps answer. Now 4-1, and there's a little life in the barn. Francois Beauchemin dusts it off, clears to center, and it's tapped in by Smith Pelly. 2-on-1 with Jackman. Can't get it over to him, and then sends it behind him as he spun back with it. Up and down they go, and now Volchenkov spilled as he tried to join the rush. Stoner dumped in the corner. They're letting him play a little bit as Maroon uses the boards to get it to Kessler. Cross ice pass to Silverberg fresh off the bench. Made a move at the line but lost the puck. Josi and Weber trade sides and come out of their own zone. Weber tees it up at the line, blockered away by Anderson.
Boy, he just hammered it too. And the other thing about Shea Weber, he doesn't take a lot of time to release that shot. It's a great motion.
He's open again. A wrist shot saved, and what a save on the rebound! Ribeiro robbed by Anderson. He said he's already made a couple of big saves. Add those.
Yeah.
Back come the Ducks. Cogliano trying to feather it ahead. Losing an edge is Kessler. He gets up and gets it towards the net. Intercepted by Yossi. And Ribeiro coming back. Puts it to the corner, but gave it right to Kessler. He tried to get it in front off a Nashville body. It ends up along the near wall. Kept deep by Silverberg. And now the Ducks want to change.
Yeah, Boudreau is going to want really short shifts here the rest of the way.
And that was a rocket by Weber from outside the blue line. And it created havoc when it came off the glass.
That's a little bit of a headhunter there, John.
Here's Jones on his backhand across the top of the slot. Taken behind the net by Brewer. Puck knocked loose, but recovered. And again, coming off the point. Everybody driving the net for Nashville. That time it was Bartley again. Point is covered by Beck. Now Ribeiro with it again. Hands it off. Here's Jones all the way between the circles. And it was tapped off his stick to the corner. Fowler doesn't know where it is. He kicks it up. Jones won't give up. The point is he's all the way to the top of the circle.
A good play by Rennie Bourque. Good defensive play there. The Predators offside, but boy, they are really chasing hard. And the Ducks are relying on the expertise of Frederik Andersen to preserve this comfortable lead. Now, first 7 minutes of this third period, it's been the Frederik Andersen show. Moments ago, Mike Ribeiro actually gets a shot on the Shea Weber point shot, and he knocks it down, creates an issue. He's going to corral the rebound. He thinks he's got to just get it up in the air, and it's in. But that left hand of Frederik Andersen again makes just a wonderful stop. Full credit to Mike Ribeiro, who seems to have resurrected his career here in Nashville after he was bought out by the Phoenix Coyotes.
Just a year and a half ago, the Coyotes gave him a 4-year deal as an unrestricted free agent. He's one of the good stories this year in the National Hockey League. Thompson and Palmieri try a little two-man game, but can't get it to the Nashville net. Poked around Lindholm by Wilson and fought off by Anderson.
Boy, Wilson dangerous. He cuts inside of Lindholm there.
Ryan, we said there'd be a push from Nashville. They've outshot the Ducks 12-0 in the third period so far.
Pretty good push.
We played 7.5 minutes. Anaheim needs to stem the tide here.
Well, it's constant motion. I mean, the Ducks right now are back on their heels, and we're not seeing the type of determination and confidence as they attack the puck carriers. They're backing up. And that's a recipe that has not worked so far in this game tonight.
Boy, Volchenkov just gave it to Maroon. And now Cullen supports getting it into the middle for Järnkrok. Swedish rookie hands it off, and Gabriel Bourque's bid is held on to by Anderson. That one looked like it may have stung the Anaheim netminder a little bit.
It's another high shot that you could hear the clink off the mask. But before that, Colin Wilson back against the grain, cuts inside of Francois Beauchemin. That is a really difficult save for a goaltender to make because you're moving laterally. You're trying to get your edges into the ice at the same time so that you can push into the puck. Really, really difficult skill for goaltenders to master, and Freddie Andersen made that look pretty darn easy.
Wilson's goal earlier in the period, his 17th of the season. 10 of them, Brian, have come in the third period this season. These are usually very important goals. Craig Smith gets it into the Anaheim zone. Forsberg plays it across, knocked down by Fowler. Puck did not come out of the zone as Weber was able to hold it in. So Smith pursues Fowler. Brewer up the boards, not out. Smith has it again. At the line, Yossi plays it down. Out to Weber, and it's absorbed by Anderson as Forsberg was doing a drive-by, trying to screen and or deflect the bid by Weber.
Philip Forsberg is holding on to Devontae Smith-Pelly's stick. Trying to draw a penalty, I presume. There's the shot. There's Forsberg. You get a hold of that stick. Players never like that, by the way, when the opponent grabs a hold of their stick, whether it's during the play or after the play. It's kind of like, that's mine. Don't want to share your toys.
Used to see it a lot more, Brian. I remember a couple years ago the league really clamped down on the holding the stick penalties. Bartley pinches up the wall, but Kessler able to help work it free. Thompson got it ahead. Now Kessler lifts the stick of Bartley behind the net. Plays it off the back of the net, trying to sneak it in front for Silverberg as he tried to get into a good shooting lane. Vatanen holds it in across for Stoner. Wrist shot punched away by the blocker of Rinne. And lobbed out of the Nashville zone. Jones got a touch on it. Yardcroak gets it in. Vatanen is there. Sammy Vatanen has his stick lifted with support in the form of Ryan Kessler. Allows Stoner to play it away to center. Silverberg again with a takeaway as he took it right off the stick of Ekholm. Jakob Silverberg has had himself a game tonight.
He's had great angles on people. He's forced all kinds of turnovers. He gets on you in hurries. He's sneaky fast. Silverberg got that first step.
Approaching the halfway mark of the third period, up the middle, Volchenkov holds it in, and a wrist shot off of Anderson's shoulder. Ducks clear the hard way as this will be an icing call.
Hampus Lindholm's in a tough spot. He does the right thing by going up the middle of the ice, but the forwards are kind of sleeping on that. They let it go right through. Actually deflects off the Nashville player that was in front of the net. They believe that was Gabriel Bourque. It's off his rear end into the corner, and Anderson does not have to make a save that time.
Stay with us immediately following the conclusion of tonight's game at Bridgestone Arena. It's Ducks Alive, brought to you by Mazda. Raquel and Ribeiro to take the draw here. And I thought they were going to toss one of them, but they're allowed to stay in. Ducks still seeking their first shot on goal of the period. They led 4-0 after 2. It's now 4-1. Rennie Bourque at center, denied, but trailing the play, Raquel swipes it in. Rene plays it along. Shots are 37-24 in favor of the Predators. Here's Weber. His bid goes wide. Ribeiro seals it off on the far boards. Again, they get it to Weber. Looking for a tip. It was tipped by Smith and smothered by Anderson. Ribeiro mixing it up at the side of the net as we'll take a timeout in Nashville with the Ducks up 4-1. Well, we talked about it earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and it was early in the game. Jakob Silverberg shorthanded just over 3 minutes into the game. Didn't quit on the play, took it away from Pekka Rinne and started what has been a big night for him. The Ducks lead 4-1.
It's not just the 2 goals from Jakob Silverberg that has been so impressive tonight. It's the tenacity on the forecheck. It's how many takeaways he has been involved in this game by just the sheer fact that he is on top of people.
Ducks without a shot on goal for the last 13 minutes of this game. Their last shot came with just over 2 minutes to go in the second period. And Frederik Andersen now has 37 saves on the night. 9 minutes left in Nashville, 4-1 Ducks. And Thompson gets it deep. Pekka Rinne is out to play it. And Seth Jones starts from behind his own goal. His pass up the wing off the stick of Bolesky, who gets it back at his own line. Stick handles around James Neal and then gave it back to Jones.
Good job by Fowler again, standing up at the blue line.
Victor Bartley finds Mike Fisher. His pass deflected, and Wilson trying to get it to the net quickly. Gets it off the side of the net and then kicked through the crease by James Neal. Cogliano able to move it across, and it's off of Silverberg's stick at center and into the Nashville bench.
Well, that time was kind of a strange play in that the Predators didn't have a ton of speed here. They just throw it off the side of the net. It ends up right on the stick of Neal. Kessler came in and got a pretty good shot in on James Neal.
Frederik Andersen's season high in saves this year is 39. He did that in a 4-3 win against the St. Louis Blues back on January the 2nd. One of 2 games in which he's made 39 saves. He did it against the Flyers in Philadelphia earlier in the season as well. He's been credited with 38 to this point. We got 8 minutes to go. Cogliano out of the corner. Gets it to Silfverberg, steps in, save, Rinne, and Anaheim has their first shot of the third period.
A chance for the hat trick for Jakob Silfverberg. We know how quickly he releases shots, but great pass into the middle. And Rinne is down early and well to the top of the goal crease. And Silfverberg cannot hit one of those top corners. That's what Pekka Rinne can present to you. When he gets down, he's so tall. He's down early. The entire bottom of the net is not available.
The Predators are 23-5-2 this year when they outshoot their opponents. They've outshot the Ducks 39-25 to this point, but they trail 4-1. And Rakell weaving below the goal line just cycles it along for Rennie Bourque. Bourque trying to bring it to the front on the backhand. Keeps the cycle going as Perry joins the fray. And he's dispatched in the corner by Shea Weber. Rakell gets it back to him. Perry skating backwards behind the net, leaves it on the wall. And Josi takes it away from Rennie Bourque. Good shift for Anaheim as they make Nashville spend time in their own zone. Roman Josi all the way into the Anaheim zone. On the backhand behind the net, pursues the puck. Gaustad picks it up. Nystrom was spilled in front. And the puck around the boards where Hampus Lindholm is able to clear. Boschma trying to push it the other way off the skate of Pat Maroon.
Ducks got the chaos a little bit under control here. And as a result, the Predators have had any of those glorious scoring opportunities in the last 3 or 4 shifts. So Boudreau has brought a little bit of control back into this game. It's interesting. There's a methodology that Laviolette uses. Any kind of a defensive zone face-off he sends, usually it's Gaustad in to take the draw. He's so darn good on the draws. But if you can keep the puck in their end, like the Ducks have been able to do, force him to play, it keeps his real threatening centerman off of the ice. Guys like Ribeiro, Jarnkrok, he doesn't want them taking draws in the defensive zone, and he's been very consistent with that. Ribeiro will take a lot of the offensive zone draws, but not so many in the D zone.
Gaustad is 4th in the league in the faceoff circle at over 57%. But he's a 4th-line centerman. Brewer trying to get it out of his feet. And Thompson is there to help. Up the boards, Maroon protects the puck with his body as Seth Jones activated, and now Pat clears it past him. And this is going to be an icing call.
Not a bad decision, and that won't make the Anaheim coaching staff upset to take an icing call like that. You keep the puck out of the middle of the ice, use the boards and the glass. If you're unsure with a 3-goal lead, what the heck? Here's one of those offensive zone faceoffs I was talking about, so it will be Mike Fisher steps in to try and pull this one back.
He will oppose Nate Thompson. 6:18 to go in the game. And Thompson with yet another faceoff win. Brewer up the boards. That hit James Neal. Neal trying to get it towards the net, and now Fisher does. It's in the glove of Andersen.
No traffic whatsoever, no problem for Frederik Andersen. Mike Fisher's not really known as a player that has a huge shot. He's more of a guy that does most of his damage from about 10 feet in and around the goal crease. Very hard-nosed player, not afraid to go into those high traffic areas.
Fisher had 3 points here a couple of nights ago in a 4-3 win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's had a couple of 3-point games in the last 10. Neal hits the post. Andersen never saw it.
I think that puck goes right through the legs of Ryan Kesler off the inside of the post, and it stays out.
Kessler carries on into the Nashville zone. Oh, my. He goes very awkwardly into the near boards as he lost an edge and is slow to get up. Back come the Predators. Fisher looking for Neal, knifed away by the stick of Jakob Silfverberg. And a penalty coming up to Silfverberg as he chopped his man down. Weber lets it go, and that one's in the netting and out of play. So Kessler a little shaken up, and the Ducks shorthanded when we return.
Well, 3-goal lead. It just hasn't felt all that comfortable for some time here in the third period. Here's an example why. A long-range shot gets through Kessler off the inside of the post. A big break for the Ducks and Freddie Anderson. Here was that play. Roman Josi with a cross-check on Ryan Kessler, and he goes awkwardly into the boards. No call there. Jakob Silfverberg then trips up Colin Wilson. Wilson has been dangerous, in particular in this third period. And so Predator power play.
Their fourth of the night, and Smith can't sneak it short side on Anderson right off the faceoff. Interestingly enough, both teams now with 4 power play opportunities in the game.
Freddie Anderson takes away that short side and is able to jump on the loose puck. Thompson has really been really good in the face-off circles in this game.
That was the 40th save of the night for Frederik Andersen. That is a new season high for him. Something tells me the Ducks are going to need him to make at least a couple more. 0 for 3 tonight with the extra man of the Preds as Jones lobs it to the corner and goes crashing in after it. Point is covered back here by Ekholm, who slides it over, and it goes through Jones. Thompson picks it up. Short-handed, he'll press the issue into the Nashville zone. Ekholm tries to get in front and does poke it off his stick.
Oh, a long reach of Ekholm, very, very effective.
Jones again lifts it in and goes after it. Brewer in his way. Craig Smith digs it free, wide open at the point. Ribeiro slides it over for Mattias Ekholm. Drifts up the boards, gets it back. Turns away from Jones. They overload the right side. Mike Ribeiro. Short little pass in to Smith, who whipped it wide, and it'll come around and out.
It's a nice play, though, by Ribeiro. Smith has slid into a kind of a soft area, and he's down below the top of the circles. He just misses his shot. Does not miss by much, by the way.
40 seconds left in the penalty to Jakob Silfverberg. Forsberg drives into the Anaheim zone, hands it off, and a big save on Neal. Rebound score!
But this time, the Predators get a bounce. James Neal goes hard to the front of the net. Anderson makes the initial save, but the rebound comes off the body of the Ducks netminder, and I think it goes right into the leg of James Neal. I don't believe that he touches that with his stick at all. Might get a better look. It was a good pass by Forsberg, and that's just going hard to the net and getting rewarded. And so with 4 minutes left, this one's got interesting. Yeah, off the left shin guard of James Neal, and in the back of the net is not a distinct kicking motion, and so that one's going to count.
And Brian, if you want to know what the Ducks are in store for in the final 4:07, Pekka Rinne had been pulled by Peter Laviolette. That was a 6-on-4 power play, and now that it's a 2-goal game, we may see more of that as the clock winds to under 4 minutes to go. Laviolette not giving up. The Ducks knew the Predators wouldn't. And the building has as much life as it's had since the game began. And there goes Rinne to the bench again. 6th man on for the Predators. The net is empty at the other end. To the net. Beck trying to get a tip on it. Chases behind the net. Fisher joins the fray. Digs it out of the feet of Clayton Stoner. Now batted out of midair. It comes around the boards and Weber pinches up the wall. Could be a frantic finish here in Nashville. They're going to call a hand pass here against the Predators.
Oh, those battles for loose pucks along the boards. It was Shea Weber and Sami Vatanen, and Rennie Bourque again is doing a nice job along the wall, and he just hacking away at pucks, trying to battle it out of the defensive zone. This faceoff comes outside with a hand pass. So, and again, I go back to something I dwell on. I know why put the goaltender back in. Why can't you have? Why can't you have a defenseman? Like, pick any one of those great defensemen that the Predators have. Shea Weber can stand back there. And
Rene stays out and now has to retreat as the Predators don't get it deep, and Anaheim does him a favor as Thompson inadvertently puts it into the Nashville bench, but Rene's going to have to stay put.
Now we've got the face-off to center. I still think take a guy out, take the goalie out, put a defenseman back there. They can stop a 50-foot shot.
Nate Thompson to oppose Mike Ribeiro on the draw. Down to 3:16 to go as Rene sneaks about 15 feet out of his goal crease. Ducks control the draw, and Beauchemin content to feather it back, and they're going to... Rene thought that was icing, but they waved it off. He had his arm up and was miscommunicating with his teammates. Ribeiro lifts it in, Rene to the bench. Sixth man on again for Nashville, under 3 to play, 4-2 Ducks. Smith puts it behind the net. In front is Beck, and he can't get a shot away. Lindholm got tangled up with Smith and couldn't clear. Wilson held the point behind the net for Ribeiro. Ribeiro giving a rough ride as Beauchemin steps in there. Ribeiro comes away with it, though. Passes it across, and it went right past Colin Wilson. I don't think he saw the pass. Ribeiro again. Shovels it back. Ekholm fumbles it. Finds it at the lane, has his shot blocked, gets it again. Anderson makes the save. Beck taps it behind the net. Predators keep it alive, and it's angled off the board by Beauchemin, but not out. Jones keeps it alive. Smith flips it to the net, and it's gloved by Anderson.
Oh, boy. Great pressure from Nashville here, and that's a key stop by Frederik Andersen. Hampus Lindholm had lost his stick. There was an exchange with one of his teammates, but there's the save by Anderson on a puck that is kind of knuckling towards the net. Anaheim into the shooting lanes. The Predators firing away. They have controlled this third period and have made a game of it.
They're on their feet at Bridgestone Arena. Remember, Peter Laviolette does not have his timeout, as he used it in the second period after the Ducks made it 4-0 early in that middle frame. Puck squirts across the Anaheim zone. Cogliano couldn't get to it. Weber just wide. Forsberg, who assisted on the second goal, gets it down low, and it slips right through Mike Fisher. Vatanen diving, can't get to it, picks himself up off the ice. Nystrom puts it to Neal, who spins down low in front. Nystrom missed everything. It came all the way through to him. And Anaheim able to clear a rolling puck back into the Nashville zone. Game down to a minute 40. As Roman Josi circles the net and winds it up. Josi spins it in. Weird bounce off the back of the Anaheim net. Alertly, Anderson plays it. Cogliano up with it in the corner. Feathers it ahead. Here's Kessler. He's got Perry. Got it over to him. Score! And the Ducks will seal the deal with just over a minute to play.
Bruce Boudreau can finally exhale on that Ducks bench. And the smart play by Ryan Kessler. Andrew Cogliano knew he had some time here. You could hear the players yelling to him on the ice surface that he had time to handle the puck. And Ryan Kessler picks the head up, and it's a perfect strike to Corey Perry for a tap-in for him. So the Predators, to their credit, boy, did they make this one interesting. They were a very determined bunch from the opening face-off of this third period, and they peppered Frederik Andersen. It's now 46 shots on goal for Nashville.
The most the Ducks have surrendered in a game this season. A career-high 44 saves for Andersen. 24 of those shots have come in this third period, as they've outshot the Ducks 24-2 in the third period. But Anaheim now has a 5-2 lead and under a minute to play. Rene back in goal for Nashville as they stormed the castle, but Andersen held the fort. Corey Perry has a point for the third straight game. Now has his 22nd of the season, but that man, Frederik Andersen, is our Land Rover player of the game, primarily because of what he's done in this third period, but a great body of work all night long.
You know what he does? He ties Pekka Rinne for the most wins in the NHL this season. And, you know, knowing what a competitive guy Freddie is, I'm sure he was looking at that stat sheet prior to the game and tired of never hearing his name. Remember, he was not included in the All-Star conversation until the third goaltender actually got injured.
Taylor Beck into the Anaheim zone with under half a minute to play. Given a rough ride by Hampus Lindholm. Reaching behind the net. Boschman can't get to it. Gausted trails him. Back into the high slot, and Nystrom collides with Pat Maroon. Thompson reverses it behind the net of the game. Clock down to under 10 seconds. Smith-Pelly looks up. Drops it back for Francois Beauchemin. And the Ducks once again have the highest point total in the National Hockey League.
Well, Anderson was magnificent. They get over the shock of losing Ryan Getzlaf during the pregame warm-up and play a real strong first two periods of this game, and then their goaltender just completely shuts the door and bails them out. Huge 2 points tonight for the Ducks in Nashville.
The Ducks win it 5-2 over the Predators.